To live alone, one must be either an animal or a god, says Aristotle. Nietzsche adds a twist, leaving aside the third case: one must be both. In Twilight of the Idols, a study published in PLOS Medicine in 2010 revealed that the health risks of chronic loneliness are comparable to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Have you ever wondered why great thinkers like Nietzsche viewed solitude as an essential path to true transformation? We live in an age where isolation is often avoided, but Nietzsche proposes the opposite. He believed that isolation is fundamental for those who wish to understand the depths of their own mind and explore inner truth without external interference. In this video, we will unveil how solitude can be the key to personal growth and the development of deep and authentic thinking. If you seek answers that can only be found within yourself, watch until the end and discover why isolation can be one of the greatest allies on the journey to greatness. For Nietzsche, solitude was a fertile territory where the true essence of humanity could flourish without the distortions of others' judgments. In his works, he spoke of the importance of stepping away from social expectations to freely explore the depths of the mind in a quest for authenticity. Nietzsche saw society as a limiting environment where critical and independent thought was often shaped and restricted by the conventions and expectations of the collective. This isolation, however, was not synonymous with alienation. On the contrary, Nietzsche believed that solitude allowed the individual to reconnect with their deepest and most authentic essence, something that social interaction, according to him, weakened with the impositions of values and standards that did not always correspond to the true self. For Nietzsche, solitude was like a workshop of ideas, a free space where he could experiment, question, and transform his own thoughts without the need to please or justify himself to others. Many of Nietzsche's deepest and most revolutionary insights arose from this state of voluntary isolation. He believed that only away from external influences could an individual recognize and confront their own desires, values, and truths. This practice for Nietzsche was not a simple choice, but a necessity of the soul for those genuinely seeking self-knowledge and a life guided by their own light, free from the dictates of conventional morality and the ideals imposed by society. Thus, solitude represented a space of radical freedom, where one could break the chains of conformity and find the courage to create an authentic identity. Nietzsche invited us to see solitude as the soil from which true greatness could emerge, nurtured by self-knowledge and the freedom to be unique. For Nietzsche, solitude was not merely an option, but a vital element for true greatness. In his understanding, solitude creates space for self-overcoming, a process by which the individual elevates themselves to a new level, breaking free from the limitations imposed by society. Nietzsche believed that by distancing themselves from the opinions and expectations of others, a person frees themselves to challenge their own beliefs and ambitions, allowing them to explore their essence without fear of judgment. This voluntary isolation also encouraged deeper self-assessment. In his words, it is in the silence of solitude that individuals confront their own contradictions and uncertainties. Nietzsche considered this a prerequisite for the construction of a superman, a concept he used to describe the individual who rises above social conventions, creating their own values and defining their own path. Greatness, for Nietzsche, emerged from this encounter with one's essence, free from external interference. He believed that by cultivating isolation, a person could access a level of authenticity and inner strength that would be unattainable amid social distractions and pressures. Thus, this solitude was not an escape, but a courageous journey inward, where greatness manifests as a result of the freedom to be authentic and the capacity for self-overcoming, factors that Nietzsche saw as the true human achievement. Nietzsche saw solitude as a powerful tool for self-knowledge, believing that isolation allowed the individual to look inward and investigate their own essence without external interference. He viewed solitude as an opportunity to confront one's beliefs, motivations, and most importantly, the contradictions that we often avoid facing. For him, this internal confrontation was essential, as only by knowing oneself could one achieve a truly authentic life. In the silence of solitude, individuals have the chance to observe their thoughts without the filter of others' expectations, hearing for the first time their own voice in a pure and honest way. Nietzsche believed that this process of introspection was fundamental for uncovering the deeper layers of the self and discovering genuine values that are not imposed by society but cultivated from one's own experiences and reflections. Practicing this solitude is also a way to understand and respect one's own emotions, allowing space for feelings and thoughts to be explored without haste or judgment. Nietzsche suggested that in this solitary space, an individual could discern what is truly important for their life and what is merely an external imposition. In this sense, solitude transforms into a field of discoveries where self-knowledge flourishes and the individual finds the strength to redefine their own identity, free from the constraints of conformity. In a world of hyperconnectivity and constant distractions, voluntary solitude has become even more relevant. For Nietzsche, solitude was a means of escaping social pressures and rediscovering authenticity. Today, this pursuit is particularly significant as we live surrounded by social media, others' opinions, and expectations that can influence our self-perception. Like Nietzsche, many seek solitude as a safe space to reflect and develop a more autonomous and profound way of thinking. Isolation, in this context, is not just a physical withdrawal, but an intentional practice of distancing oneself from external influences to connect with one's own ideas and feelings. Nietzsche believed that this distance was essential for those who wish to question norms and live a purposeful life guided by their own convictions. Today, this philosophy can serve as an antidote to superficiality and the pressure to please others. Isolation allows individuals to understand what they truly value and believe without being shaped by the constant flow of information. Therefore, practicing solitude, as Nietzsche proposed, becomes a way to maintain authenticity and preserve the freedom to be who we truly are. Although solitude is a powerful tool for self-knowledge, many still face the fear it provokes. For many, isolation can evoke feelings of insecurity, loneliness, and anxiety, leading to an aversion to the idea of being alone. However, it is important to recontextualize this experience. Instead of viewing solitude as a sign of weakness or isolation, we can see it as an opportunity for personal growth. Nietzsche teaches us that by confronting the fear of solitude, we can uncover a fertile space for reflection and development. One way to overcome this aversion is to start with short periods of introspection, allowing ourselves moments of silence and solitude amidst the busyness of daily life. Practices like meditation, solitary walks, or even simply disconnecting from electronic devices can aid in this process. Over time, these moments of solitude will transform into valuable periods of self-discovery, revealing new perspectives and insights about ourselves. Instead of fearing solitude, we should view it as an ally in the pursuit of a more meaningful and authentic life, following Nietzsche's philosophy that true greatness often emerges from the depths of isolation. Through solitude, Nietzsche shows us that true greatness manifests when individuals allow themselves to explore their own essence. This process of self-discovery, free from external influences, is fundamental for developing an authentic sense of identity. Solitude should not be seen as a burden, but as a sacred space where ideas, values, and passions can be cultivated. In isolation, individuals gain the freedom to question and redefine what they truly consider meaningful in their lives. This internal quest, though solitary, is a path filled with transformative potential. Nietzsche invites us to embrace solitude as a means of achieving the emotional self-sufficiency and inner strength necessary to shape a purposeful life. Thus, greatness becomes not only an external achievement, but an intimate and profound realization that emerges from the courage to be authentic, even in solitude. In summary, solitude, as emphasized by Nietzsche, is a powerful ally in the journey of personal transformation. It offers an essential space for self-knowledge, allowing each individual to explore their true essence and create an authentic identity free from social impositions. By overcoming the fear of solitude, we open doors to valuable insights and meaningful self-discoveries. Therefore, instead of fearing isolation, we should recognize it as an opportunity to cultivate our inner greatness, strengthening our ability to live fully and meaningfully. True freedom lies in the courage to be who we truly are, even in solitude.